Time now for Coming In Hot with Brent Wallace, former Ottawa Senator Jason York, and Shawn Simpson.
Afternoon, everybody. Brent Wallace, Jason York, Shawn Simpson, coming in hot. Yorkie, I just need an update. How's the face?
Surprisingly, I'm kind of like Wolverine, I guess. I just heal so quickly. It's crazy. I thought I was going to have, they were like, you're going to have to, Dr. Sandra's like, you're going to have an ice bag on. Potentially, you could do some salt water gargles, because they basically took a scalpel and they sliced off this thing up above
I just
my
asked
mouth.
how you were doing.
Gory, Wally. But anyhow, the recovery of me. It's even at age 54, unbelievable. It's I'm doing great. Just had a hot bowl of chili. And I'm not even supposed to eat hot foods because it's going to sensitivity. It's unbelievable, Simmer.
Well, that's the elite athlete right there. Like, you never lose that. You might get older, but you still are elite. Hey, the healing process. That always makes me think of Erik Karlsson as we go off topic right away. How quickly he'd come back from injuries. He'd be like, "Wow, that is a different animal."
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, feeling good.
No, that's good.
I can laugh again.
Well, hopefully everybody will be laughing after tonight if you're a Senators fan with a big victory over the New Jersey Devils. However, it doesn't feel that great going in when there's no Artem Zub. Jacob Bernard-Docker makes his season debut tonight. Anton Forsberg is in goal as Linus Ullmark skated today in the optional skate this morning, but he's not even going to be the backup tonight. Boys, how are we feeling against the 4-2 New Jersey Devils, who, by the way, are an early Stanley Cup favorite?
That's funny, eh? It's like when the team's 2-1, but if you want to keep things positive, positive doesn't sell. So we got to find something to not feel good about. I'm curious. I guess curious is the best word to describe things for me. I'm curious to see how Anton Forsberg responds tonight. So that would be my biggest thing. I want to see how he starts the game, see if he settles in, because we talked so much about him. We had Carter Hutton on yesterday, Simmer, who I agree was awesome. We had a great conversation with Carter yesterday. For those who didn't watch, it's some good podcasting. So I'm curious for Forsberg, and I'm also curious to watch JBD play tonight. Hasn't played yet. See how he comes in tonight, Simmer. And those are the two guys I'm going to be watching, and especially Forsberg.
Well, I think we knew going into the year, guys, when we talked about injuries, I feel like as far as the forwards and the defense, they're kind of at their breaking point. Like, I'm actually comfortable with that. When I look at the fourth line right now, there's not much there, but with Gregor moving up, I'm okay with the top 9. And I got to be honest with you, I'm excited to see the defense. It is all about Forsberg. I mean, that is the question mark. If he had Ullmark behind this group right now, I'd say, okay, kind of a 50-50 versus New Jersey Devils, but we just don't know what to expect. So that is to the multi-million-dollar question. And I just pray that Anton Forsberg isn't on Twitter, because there is not a lot of, if you were selling stocks right now, there's not a lot of confidence in that stock. Oh my God. Like most people have just penciled in for the L.
A reminder, we will, by the way, at the end, do our picks for the Coming In Hot Challenge Cup, or whatever the hell we're calling it. So yes, please refrain from giving your pick.
Oh boy. What are you laughing? What are you looking at?
Well, I thought you were gonna... Every
time I say the word curious, it just brings me back to this Saturday Night Live skit. It's one of the best skits of all time. It's Will Ferrell doing his impersonation of Harry Carey. I don't know if you've ever seen it, Wally. It's so good.
It's very good.
Curious like a cat. And he goes on. It's just, it's good.
How loaded was Harry Carey when he used to do the 7th inning stretch? Like, just like that old school baseball announcer. You just have your 12-pack right there, and you're just drinking and announcing baseball, and nobody cares. Everybody thinks it's absolutely awesome what he used to do back in the day.
This Saturday Night Live is actually watchable now. Like, it was unwatchable for like the last 10 years. Now they got, you know why? They brought back Dana Carvey to do the Joe Biden imitation. It is, I don't know if you guys have seen it.
I've seen it, and it's absolutely outstanding. Even the Kamala Harris is just, the accent, the look. I mean, both of them have just done a great job of both these characters. As we're
Show
less than 3
sabotage.
weeks away.
Look at Wally's face. What's going on? There's a game tonight.
He knows
the only
this is
thing
the
I don't
game
like
we need.
about Dana Carvey, he's too short to be Joe Biden.
It's
Yeah.
so good, though. It's so
yeah.
good.
All the
Point
delayed
is,
motion.
we're
That's
trying
the
to-
part that gets it. You don't even have to say anything. It's just the look of having no idea where you're at. When you go to walk around, it's like you turn your body and then they're kind of waving to you to come this way, come this way. It's like when he gets off the helicopter at the White House,
Okay.
it's like,
Okay,
okay, I gotta make it to the door.
Back to the game.
Okay.
At one
I'm
point
curious.
this morning, there
Yes.
was 4 goalies on the ice.
What?
So
Where's
we're all covered.
where's Wally Vision? I want to see this.
I did post it. We did have Ullmark is out, and then Forsberg comes out, and then Sogar comes out, and I'm just getting ready to tweet something about Ullmark or whatever, and the Sportsnet camera guy next to me, Dan, goes, "There's a 4th goalie." So it was there was an actual 4th goalie on the ice. He's from the North American Hockey League, I think it's called. He was just there, I think, to take shots for the most part. But it was just interesting to see. Like,
Would
we
he be
don't have
the
enough
E-bug,
goalie
Wally?
issues. I don't. He's an Ottawa native. He might be. Again, we had to scramble to find out where he came from and who he was, but it was interesting just to see 4 goalies when we have enough issues with the goaltending in Ottawa at the moment.
Aren't
Yeah,
you
that's
an old
confidence
goal-
right
aren't-
there.
Aren't you an old goalie, Wally? Back in the
I
day.
am. Look. I got this is the UNB Hockey School Goaltender of the Week award for 1984. So I keep this
nice.
up here just to irritate Simmer. By the way, back to back, because the 1983 one is here as well.
Wow. Was that handed out by Doug McLean?
I think it was.
Yeah.
Doug McLean and Jacques Demers at one point was part of that.
Yeah, it's funny. Early 90s, I was retired of not being very good, and I was the first E-bug. There was no other ones, and I would go out and practice all the time, and I just loved it. And it never. I dressed for a few games, but what ended up happening, they got me a jersey with 911 on the back. So I always thought, boy, I wish I still had that. Hey, just one of those memories from back in the day. And I was so good, such a good practice goalie. Like, it was hilarious. They'd practice the power play, and they're like, "Oh, this guy's terrible. And they can't even beat him." And I was like, you know what? No pressure on me right now. This is when I stand on my head.
I picture Wally as a classic, like 1960s stand-up goalie, just really stiff, like wooden legs, high shoulders. Movements aren't great, but just he's good at the high ones. But anything low on the ice, it's going in.
Well,
Not
that
the high-
vintage. The vintage right there, Wally. There was no butterfly, right? It was everybody would tell you to
God,
stay
no.
on your feet, stand
Too
up,
bad stack.
stand up. Yeah.
So I had I had horsehair hockey pads. It's going back a long time. They're Canadian goalie pads, and I remember getting them for Christmas. I think I wore them to bed one night when I first got them. Anyway, all you ever had, as in Simmer, you should remember this, is you had like a catcher's belly pad, which is just a little bit of stuffing, if you will, and then the wings were just 2 small foam pads on the bicep and on the forearm, nothing on the shoulders. So I took some volleyball elbow pads and taped them so they'd be on the shoulders, because I kept getting ding off the shoulders.
Wow.
So
And that's
yeah.
a smart move, Wally, because everyone went through that. I was lucky enough as I got to about midget hockey. That was when the first One Piece came out by Vaughn, and that was a game changer. Like the NHL goaltenders, Jerry Cheevers and some of the guys back in the day, they wouldn't even stay in the net because you get dinged one off that shoulder and you can almost still feel the pain. It was right in that soft spot right there, and you go down in the corner and you're kind of moving around. Today's goaltender has no idea, based on the new mask, based on gear in the upper body that is basically good for 4 people. I mean, it is the safest position, out of getting run once in a while. Man, oh man, it has changed for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, again, nowhere near today's show. As we try to get through this, the last thing I have, by the way, here's if you haven't seen it, here's Linus Ullmark on the ice today. He's just like he's just going. That's Forsberg. That's he looks good. Like again, I don't know what the issue is with the strain, where it is, but everything seems to be good. Although he's nowhere near going at 100%.
Yeah, it looks good to me. Like I said, probably just being cautious here, fellas. Like a little bit of a strain. Let's give it a full week. And I could see, based on what I see, Simmer, I looks like he's moving pretty good. Probably gets him in that next game.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's smart, guys. I didn't feel it. And again, I have no idea what the injury is. And if this is mid-season and he's played 40 games and he misses a couple of days, you'd say, okay, you're kind of into a groove. We're still so early in the season. And he missed a little bit of time in the preseason. Now you get into the regular season. The idea of throwing him in without really a full practice, because you can do all these drills, as you know, Yorkie. You can move around and you can try it. Well, all of a sudden opening up in a game is just completely different. So, hey, give Forsberg the opportunity. Obviously, they're smart to not even have him back up. Let Sogard do that. And I assume we see him on Saturday, which I think is a good plan. It's just a matter of getting through tonight mentally for the fan base.
The Tampa Bay Lightning roll into town on Saturday. Quickly, this show proudly presented to you by Charm Diamond Centers. Proudly Canadian owned and operated since 1972 with more than 85 locations across the country through Charm and their sister brands. Get custom ring building delivered in less than 4 weeks with the Charm Masterpiece program and an unbeatable pricing policy. Check out the large selection of Canadian lab-grown diamonds, mine diamonds, and don't pay until 2025 with their instant in-store financing on approved credit. For more information, go to charmdiamondcenters.com. I want the two of you to have to sing the jingle at the end when I read it from now on. Chosen forever, Charm Diamond.
I think after years at TSN, and I can't remember what the company is, the jewelry commercial that they had on there, that drove people absolutely berserk. It's almost like now on Bell now that hair commercial for Bell 5.
Oh,
like,
yeah. We don't discuss Bell on the show.
Okay, all right.
By the way, dog sighting at work today. I forgot to bring put the video in the show, but Linus Ullmark had Bob, his dog, in the locker room today. Cute fella.
Is that a wiener dog or are we
corgi? Or? Is it corgi? Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
It's called a corgi. My neighbor's got one. Andrew, they're great little dogs. Smart.
Yeah, he was apparently may have had a couple accidents in the room. I'm not 100% sure. Overheard a conversation.
Just not on the logo. Not on the don't take it.
So
no.
They cover the logo now.
Yeah. Okay.
In the mornings, they have a big carpet that goes over top of the logo so people don't walk on it. Well, now we just walk all over it, but it's covered. So for people that don't know, the logo on the floor in locker rooms now is you can't go near it, you can't walk on it. Mm-hmm. And so if you do, it's a fine. So now they've covered it in Ottawa because the logo is massive now.
Yeah, it's funny for the trainers. This is all great about the idea of, okay, bringing the kids in. And, well, there are practices, and I'm not sure who's babysitting. Now the dog thing is like, oh, Ullmark's a star, and this is really awesome. Now Bob takes a crap a couple of places around the dressing room, and the trainers are kind of like, yeah, maybe we toss the dog in the car for the practice, the dog watch for them. So that's a very fine line there, depending on how your season going, and certainly depending on what player it ends up being.
I can see it now. Hey, Linus, dog's got to go. Bob's got to go.
That would have to be Alfie would have to do the talk. Okay, he's the only one that could approach him.
Oh, Alfie's a dog guy though. I think he'd be pro dog.
Okay.
Yeah. He used to have a big German Shepherd back in the day. Back when we were neighbors, this dog used to come over to my place, and the dog was like those are such smart dogs, right? He'd just show up. They'd be on the outdoor rink. Dog would jump on the rink, start stealing all the pucks, take the pucks off the rink. Massive too. This dog probably 130 pounds. Ono was his name. Beautiful dog. So I think I think a lot of teams are doing that now, fellas. Like they like the dogs at the rink. It's a couple teams have they have the therapy dog down there too, to make the players.
Ottawa used to have one with Rookie.
Yeah.
You have the mascot as well. And next thing you'll be having dog walkers. You go up to the main concourse there and let them go for a walk. You have like 5 or 6 of them at one time, right?
Well, speaking of dogs, I hear a dog barking in the background.
I know. That's my place there. That's Alfie. He's going a little bit wild, but that's people think it's like the Masters that we're piping this in. No, that's actually live at 2:14 in the afternoon.
There's nothing worse than like our neighborhood. We get a dog 2 doors down, and it's got the whole neighborhood up in arms. This thing, they let the thing outside, and it just yaps nonstop. That's a good boy right there.
There's Bob. There's Bob.
That's awesome.
Can't have a yappy dog.
Excellent Wally vision.
Okay, let's get back. I don't know if we can focus on today. We're all over the place. You know what? We're going to do the simmer survey because I want to get into talking about perhaps some of these players. So,
Okay.
without further ado, Jake, simmer survey.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Yeah, and I was thinking of different things. I was thinking about the use. I did put one out there earlier, just getting kind of primed up on Ullmark. But I thought, hey, here's a good question with the New Jersey Devils in town. Jack Hughes sure gets a lot of love around the National Hockey League. Who do you think will finish with more points this season? Number 1, Timmy Stützle, or number 2, Jack Hughes? And certainly Stützle's off to the better start. What do you think, Yorkie?
Yeah, great question. Great question. I'm just perusing through New Jersey's lineup right now. Some unfamiliar names in there as well, guys, when you're looking at some of their scoring leaders. For me, I think this is Jack Hughes does get a lot of love around the league. Like he's a great player. You know what? Just based off the start, I'll go with Tim Stützle. He's feeling it right now. This is going to matter it comes down who's going to stay healthy, right? Who's going to stay healthy? I think Stützle stays healthy, and he just edges out Jack Hughes by a couple points.
Okay, sounds good. What do you think, Wally?
It's a good question, Simmer. I wish you would have done goals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If you'd have done goals, I would have said Tim Stützle in a heartbeat. I think that the New Jersey Devils are going to have more success, and I believe more wins results in more offense. I will take Jack Hughes on this one, but boy, the way Tim has looked right now, 6 points through 3 games, is on a 3-game point streak. He does look like I'll use the cliche, his game is at another level, but he does look really good right now.
Yeah, and I'll go with, hey, it's because you just mentioned Yorkie, going to be very close. I mean, I think they're right there as far as talent. I think physically, they're the same age. I think Stützle's a little further along than Jack. Good friends or know Jack's mom and dad, old Jimmy Hughes and Ellen. Yeah, he's there. But also with the Devils, it's, again, such a small sample size, guys. But what they've been kind of built on, they have the 3rd best penalty kill in the league, and it's the 2 goaltenders, Markstrom and Allen, who I think we might see tonight, who is 2-0 with a .50 goals against. I'll give Stützle just for a little hometown love, but I think it'll be real close. And I think those 2 players just overall are a lot closer than people, because didn't some people have Jack Hughes for the Hart Trophy at the beginning of the season?
But there's lots of nonsense that happens at the beginning of the season.
Oh, for sure. But I love his talent, and a great family, such a great story with 3 boys who pretty much grew up in Toronto and now have gone on to have a great career. So yeah, I'll give Timmy just the edge.
Like, I don't think Jack Hughes for MVP or Hart is crazy, right? Like, if that team rolls through the regular season, I think very much he could be very well considered for a Hart Trophy.
Well, there's a lot of competition out there now in today's National Hockey League. That's the only thing. But I agree with you. You know, if you took the MVP off of each team, you would kind of project him to be that guy.
Right.
But that's the nice part about the National Hockey League. The other thing, look to the 4 Nations tournament. Boy, the United States has got a nice roster, including much better goaltending than what Canada is going to put out there. So I'm not big on the 4 Nations, boys. But anytime it's Canada versus the U.S., I'll get excited about that.
Somehow we turned the Simmer survey into the 4 Nations Cup, but go ahead.
Hughes is interesting to watch though. Like when you watch like the top elite players in the league, right? Like I'm talking McKinnon, I'm talking about that Draisaitl, I'm talking about McDavid. When they're on the ice, they control the whole pace of the shift. And like when I watch a young Stützle, like there's times when he takes the puck and he's in control of everything. Versus when I watch Hughes, I find him just a really smart guy that finds passing lanes, really good from the blue line in. I just don't know if he's a guy for me that controls the whole pace of the game when he's out there. Like the top guys in the league, really. I'm not saying Stützle is at that pace, but there are times when you see Stützle do that. So yeah, he's an interesting player. I love his hockey IQ offensively. I'm not sold on the Devils, though, boys.
Really?
I don't know if like you got to be so physically tough now if the NHL is going to continue to call the game the way they do in the playoffs. And I look at smallish players, like look at Florida, for example, look at Vegas. Nate McKinnon's a skilled guy, but he's a big, strong, thick guy. That's when I look at Stützle. Like he's a thick guy now. Like you can see him starting to get his man strength versus I look at a guy like Jack Hughes, not a huge body. And it is. That's why I wasn't a huge DeBrincat guy, a fan, because if you're going to pay a guy like that $9-10 million, same with Montreal, Cole Caulfield. Just remember, you're building your team around a smallish player, and smallish players can't lead you in the NHL as your top guy. They can be complementary guys, but they can't be your top guy. I just if the league is going to continue to call the game the way they are right now, case in point, Mitch Marner. Why do you think he struggles so much in the playoffs? It's so hard to get time and space in the playoffs and to fight. What's everybody doing now, Simmer? Big, long D. Every single team in the league. So you're just at a huge disadvantage when you're a smaller forward.
Yeah, and I think also allocation of salary, guys, pretty simple. You're going to go with center ice defense, maybe a goaltender for the winger. And I think Panarin's another great example of great regular season, but so easily kept to the outside. And so where do you become effective on the game? And for DeBrincat, it's almost a power play. I mean, you've got to be a bullish, kind of power forward on a winger versus building around smaller skilled guys that you're going to allocate that kind of salary that we see Marner getting.
Yeah, 100%.
Here, by the way, just a little snippet of Tim Stützle at practice. Just fine in the back of the net. We could follow that up with Claude Giroux. As when you're in a morning skate like this, optional things are just not nearly as 100%. Here's Claude Giroux on the same 2-on-1, possibly. Some soft hands. Watch this.
Just like a sleep app you're trying out here, Wally, with the soft voice and put this on before bed and it's going to put us to sleep.
Wow. No,
I don't know though if that's a good sign that's Forsberg in goal. If I'm the teammate, I'm hitting him in the chest all morning, every puck. And for Claude Giroux, we saw it the other night. I mean, those sweet hands coming across the slot area and scoring that beautiful backhander, just calm, nice and easy. And Timmy Stützle got all that power generated from the lower body, legs and ass. And man, oh man, when he's at top speed, he can sure fire the puck.
But have you seen him? We had the picture of him the other day, and you showed him early on in his career. I remember it was a couple of shows ago, Wally, and you see he's got the little tiny neck. Now he's got the big neck. Like he's a thick guy, like he's thick lower body. He's just like you really don't call it the man strength. You don't really get it till you're like 24, where you thicken out and he's already starting to get it, which is a great sign.
Sorry, I was just trying to look up his headshot. I'll move on. Before we move on from the Simmer survey, I do have one point to make on Tim Stützle, and that is he has a chance to have a little bit of history with some fellow Senators tonight. He needs 2 points in this game to tie for the most points after 4 games in Ottawa Senator history, which is done by 5 people 6 times, including names like Joe Corvo and Dan Quinn. Alfie, by the way, being the latest to do it, he did it back in 07-08, 8 points, 5 goals, 3 assists. But there have been 5 players 6 times to have 8 points. So
perhaps
it's possible.
Perhaps one of the best SENS nicknames of all times, Joe. Every time he'd get the puck, it would be, what's going to happen here? Such a talented player, though. Interesting he's on that list, but he had some good offensive skill. He had a nice skill set.
He had a 5-point game.
Oh, yeah. The guy could shoot it. He could skate. It's just sometimes the decision-making, the wires would get crossed a little bit, and you'd see one of those moments. But definitely a talented guy.
Yeah, also from a local standpoint, old Danny Quinn. You want to talk about underrated hockey players. Boy, the numbers he put up in Philadelphia and would have been Pittsburgh or Calgary. Danny, very, very smart hockey player. And actually had a real good year the one year that he was here in Ottawa.
Yeah, he was good player. Good golfer too, Simmer. Scratch.
Oh, yeah.
Played a little.
Well, he's pretty tight with the G-Man, and I think he hangs out with Ernie Els and a few other guys. So, yeah. No, he was a caddy for Ernie one time. Was he not at the Masters?
Yeah, I believe he was, or perhaps the Pebble Beach Pro-Am, one of those things. Maybe it was the Masters, but yeah, no, great golfer.
Moving on, this segment powered by Square. If you run a restaurant, you're too busy for this ad. It's that simple. You're simply thinking about how to get more orders flowing and new locations opening. You need to get more customers and keep them coming back. So really, You're already thinking about Square because Square Restaurant Tech helps more than 400,000 restaurants do all those things and more. So when you're thinking about your restaurant, think bigger and think Square. Go to squareup.com for more information. Okay. The New Jersey Devils, as we continue to chat about tonight's game, I don't know how the two of you have gotten off topic every time I've tried to bring it up. However, the power play is operating at 20%. Their PK has allowed 1 power play goal in 16 opportunities. When you see this game tonight, without telling me the score, if you can, well, I'll say the over/under at Bet365 is 6.5 goals.
Ooh.
Do you foresee this being an over type game, or will this be, as Brady Tkachuk tried to say, we want to win it 2-1?
Yeah, I think they're going to clamp it down here tonight. I think with judging when you have a game like that where you give up 7 but you get 8 and you win, you have a lot of video this week. I would think you're going over a lot of stuff and you're making sure, because too, man, sure, they're fun games to watch, but those are dangerous games to play. And so I think we're going to see the boomerang effect here, or the ricochet, where we see a totally different team that gets the under on this one. And New Jersey's got good goaltending too. It's the question why I'm so curious. It's who will show up for the Sens and Nets, and I'm betting that Forsberg's going to have a decent game, and this is going to be a low scoring game.
Yeah, I can't say that going in, guys. I'll take the over. There's just too much of a question mark on the Ottawa side. And I do think there's enough offensively. And I think the app line tonight is going to end up having a little bit of a breakout. And also, I introduced it on Twitter, Yorkie. But after seeing Donald Trump the other day and watching him being interviewed is basically what we do on the show. So for now on, we're doing the weave. When we go off talking and we go different places, because that's we don't even listen to the question.
No,
we just go into our weave motion. So for now on, we'll have to get a spot, maybe a hair sponsor, a hair plug sponsor. Hey, let's go to the weave.
What is your policy, Wallace? Well, I can't tell you about that, but I will tell you about Harry Carey and Saturday Night Live. It's one of the best skits ever.
Exactly.
Here's what I think is going to happen tonight.
What?
That blue line will end up playing a simpler game. So it will be a get the puck out off the glass type game, where I think it's a more organized defensive game. I'm going to say it's an under in this game tonight. Okay. There will not be a lot of goals scored.
I'll also say this from Sanderson and Shabbat, Yorkie. Based on the schedule they've had so far and the schedule going forward, not playing again until Saturday, I don't think there'll be a cap on minutes for those guys. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if Sanderson and Shabbat get up around 30, not quite that high. Jensen, I think the big key watching tonight, I'm real excited to see Clevin and JBD. The curiosity is just how Hamonic goes with Sanderson. I don't think it'll be that bad, and I don't mind this group. It's just all about Forsberg. I can't honestly go into a hockey game and say that I'm confident in his ability. I mean, it's unfortunate, but until he shows you again, there's just too much of a sample size that shows that he's going to have a tough night.
Yeah, totally fair. And I here's the thing: when you play with Jake Sanderson as his partner, you just got to be really simple. You get the puck on a neutral zone regroup. It's just fire it right over to Sanderson, and he's going to make a great play with the puck. You get it on the breakout right away. Your best option is D to D to Sanderson, because he's gonna make a good play. Like Hamonic, if you looked at his camp, he had a really good camp. A lot of his minutes were played with Sanderson, so he's smart enough to know that you're playing with a kid like that. Give him the puck, then block your shots, get in the way, talk, and you'll have a good game. So I have confidence that Hamonic's going to have a good night because he's playing with Ottawa's best defenseman.
Yeah, I think the only curiosity I have is that the Devils, as far as tempo and transition, are one of the better in the National Hockey League. We saw that a couple of years ago when they played the Rangers in the playoffs. They pretty much blew the doors off them. That's my concern there with Hamonic, is the gap control, is the ability to handle that, and also just to see from JBD kind of where his man strength is at and where his game is at. But that's why we'll watch the game, and that's why there's still lots of intrigue as we're only 4 games into the year.
Which leads us into, we'll make the picks now, because I just know that you guys are going to give the pick away before we get to it, and then ruin the
Okay.
whole thing. So, Yorkie, take care of some business.
Taking care of business, as always, with BEI. If you're looking to spruce up that driveway, get some good curb appeal, then BEI is the company for you. They can help you with aggregate and topsoil sales, and you can rent equipment from them as well. You can give them a call at 613-432-1120 or at bonishirexcavating.com. BEI is helping to shape the Auto Valley. And you won't have a tough time slowing down tonight because it's going to be heavy traffic going out to that game. So leave early.
By the way, is it $5 or $6 beers pregame tonight?
Yes.
So as
Yeah,
throwback. So
Yep.
Hop in and get there early so you can have a couple of bevies cheaper than normal. Also,
You going to the game? You going to the game, Wally?
of course, Yorkie.
Okay, I'll be there. Simmer's coming.
I know Eric's be there. The team will be assembled at the Canadian Tire Center.
News team assemble.
Eric's going to bring his whatever horn that is that they used in the movie.
The conch.
The conch.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
and I and Simmer will be in a glass case of emotion. It'll be good. Okay.
Might even pull out the Sex Panther tonight just for you guys.
Okay. Anyway, this show proudly presented by Bet365. Open an account today with Bet365 and bet on a huge range of markets. So whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Use code DAILY365. Must be 19 years of age or older. Please play responsibly. Download the app today. So gentlemen, it's this simple. It may come as a shock, but the New Jersey Devils are the favorite in this game at -140. They are 4-2, while the Ottawa Senators are not. They're 2-1. So, who are you picking? You know what? I'm going first. So, because one of us should always pick the other team, but
Okay.
I tonight will be picking the New Jersey Devils.
Oh, Wally. Okay. Simmer, who you got?
Well, I'm carrying a hot hand. I was the one that took Boston yesterday when you both took Colorado, and it doesn't matter.
I didn't
but
take
I'm just
Colorado.
I thought you did.
No,
No, you did. I was the only one that
Uh-oh.
took Boston.
We
So
got
I'm rolling. I'm taking that cash from last night and I'm rolling it in. And yeah, to be honest with you, in the case of Forsberg, I said this last night, and boy, oh boy, is Colorado bad with Gorgiev. I just don't know about Forsberg, and I just don't. Unfortunately, I want to see it. I want him to have a big game. He's easy to cheer for, but I'm taking New Jersey all day long. Now we're just taking straight out bets, right? We're not going with the odds or anything. It's pretty much just who's going to win the game tonight. I'll go
up.
New Jersey. Yeah, I'll go New Jersey. What about you, Yorkie?
Oh, well, you guys both took the Devils, so I'm going to be different. I'm going to take the Ottawa Senators on this. I'm going to see a young defense pair come together and have themselves a night. And JBD and Tyler Clevin. I'm going to see Travis Hamonic playing a simple game alongside Jake Sanderson. I'm going to see Nick Jensen playing the way that people thought he would, but they brought him in here for. Had a good game last game. So yeah, I'm expecting a bounce back defensively to tighten up the batten down the hatches here, boys, and I'm going to take an Ottawa Senators victory.
just pandering to the fans right now at this point.
Well, again,
Well, he'll be in the alumni box. He won't hear the end of it. They won't let him in if he ends up taking the New Jersey Devils. The thing I'll also say about the Devils, guys, and not that they're small per se, but it is going to be about speed tonight. And that's where I think JBD will do well. This isn't one of those monster teams up front that's going to overpower you. So as long as he's able to control his tempo, stay with a good gap, stay squared on people. But I think as far as his puck battles down low and in and around the net there, I think this is a pretty good matchup for him. All eyes for me, guys, will be on Hamonic, just how he controls the tempo.
If I gave you Anton Forsberg's record against the Devils, would that sway your mind at all?
Let's see it. Let's see it.
2-5-1.
Oh, save percentage.
893. He's been pulled in his last start against the New Jersey Devils. He lost. By the way, his very first career game was against the New Jersey Devils. He lost.
Oh, dear.
Oh,
Yorkie's I might do the switcheroo. I'm going to do the switcheroo now. Hey?
Well, here's the thing: if he just got pulled What's his? Well, give me some stats here. What's his stats after getting pulled the game before? Do we know that? Do I get the intel on that?
Oh, I don't know.
I'd love to know that. But you're a professional athlete. You're not having. You have 2 stinkers in a row. Then the alarm bells are going to start here, and the Ottawa goalie graveyard committee is going to start coming out again after you. Pitchforks will be out. I think he's gonna have a bounce back game. I really do. I don't know why. It's just something's telling me that Forsberg is going to play well tonight.
Oh, he's kind of battling for his hockey life, guys. And again, Ullmark will come back, but I'm sure the management group has to look at this and say, hey, we need 25 games from our backup goaltender. Is he capable? Well, certainly Sogard's not capable. He's not ready. He needs to go back to the American Hockey League. I guess the thing I would do, Yorkie, is I'd pull the old, maybe take a couple of shots on goal on your own goalie just to get him feeling the puck, just so the first couple of shots don't go in. It's like, okay, just here you go. Here's a couple of soft ones. You can just kind of play it, get a feel for it. All eyes, quite simply, no matter what the start ends up being, are going to be on whether or not he can have a good first period, because it almost feels like the yips in golf or baseball, guys, where he's got a mental thing right now where he needs to concentrate so hard to stop the first couple shots, stop the first 5. Just get a little momentum, a little confidence for yourself and for your team.
The old Rory McIlroy yips. Have you seen the gifs there when they did the golf hole about as large as a canyon and he still couldn't put it in there?
So Anton Forsberg's last 13 starts, he's 8-4 with a 305 goals against and an 893 save percentage.
Now we're talking. Now we're cooking.
So there is that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he did allude to it yesterday in the comments. He said, hopefully I can get back to the way I finished last season. And he did finish fairly well. I think he was pulled twice.
Yeah. The only thing, there was no pressure at the end of. I always find when you're at the end of a season and you're not a playoff team, it's mentally the damage has been done. So you get to this point like, well, can't get any worse. I'm just going to go out and play now. And that's the mindset a lot of players do. That's why you see players on bad teams always get their points, the cookies at the end of the year, because it doesn't matter anymore. And I'm not saying that's the case, but now Simmer just alluded to it. There's some pressure because now you're counted on. Your team is predicted to get off to a good start. You have to get off to a good start. The whole city is watching and wanting it, and you can't have a start we had last, 5-6 years. So there's a different kind of pressure right now. So we'll see. We'll know the answer in what time is it right now? 2:30, in about 6 hours from now, gentlemen.
Yeah, and the other thing to that is when he played for his contract, and again, he played hard, he played well. They talked about it, but same thing. I mean, he was playing for his hockey life in a sense of he was a guy that probably ended up in the American Hockey League. He played great. You just wonder if somehow he can channel that and remove some of the pressure and just get feeling better about himself. But like I said, for him, it just feels like it's all about the start. If he can get off to a pretty good start, get comfortable, be a little more aggressive, a little more square on the puck, I think he'll be in good shape.
By the way, gentlemen, last question I have for you too. Brady Tkachuk and Tim Stützle are both on 3-game point streaks as they have point in each of their games this season. Which one will continue tonight? Will they both continue? Will they both end? Who will have a point?
I'm going to say they both get in on a power play point tonight of some sort. So I could see them both getting a point tonight.
I'll go the same. I think this is a pretty good matchup. I have not looked at the size in New Jersey. Everyone's raving about the new defenseman. Is it Casey, the 5'9"er? They're not a monster group back there. So I think Brady Tkachuk will do fine. And I think this sets up perfectly for Stützle. Like I said, it's going to be a high tempo, high transition. Issue is the third best penalty kill in New Jersey along with the goaltending. But I'll say they both end up getting a point tonight, Wally.
Okay. I agree with you. I will just add, who leads the New Jersey Devils in scoring?
Goals or points? Just points or goals?
I was going to go with points, but if you want to change the question, you just go ahead.
Well, I actually cheated and I looked at who leads the team. Nobody would know who this random guy is. Simmer, I'll give you a hint. His last name is from one of the best sitcoms of all time, going back to the late 70s. With the
why did I ask?
With the old Sweat Hogs.
Yeah. Well, I thought I looked it up, and maybe I'm not feeling what you're saying because I don't really know. But it's Jesper Bratt and Stefan Nason, is it not?
Well, leading in points for the New Jersey Devils, goals with 4 is Mr. Cotter. Paul Cotter with 4 goals. Who is this guy?
And you were saying the Cutter, where does it? The reference Cutter for me is a great movie underrated from the 70s called Breaking Away.
No, he's talking about Welcome Back, Cotter.
Welcome Back, Cotter. You must have seen Welcome Back, Cotter.
Oh,
with
it's the best, eh? Vinny Barbarino.
Barbarino, Mr. Cotter.
Had the whole. Oh man, that was a great show.
This is going to come as a shock to both of you. I've never seen it.
Well,
really?
I'm not surprised.
Wow.
You've never seen Welcome Back, Cotter?
No, I know the opening, like Welcome Back, but I've never watched. As soon as I heard the opening, I'm like, I'm out.
Oh, and the other classic actor in there, it was Epstein. He ended up having that. Oh man, that was so well done. That's when TV was a little bit different with old Good Times and a whole bunch of things. You're not that young, Wally. Come on, man. Like seriously.
No, but everybody else listening is, so they have no idea what we're talking about right now.
Great point. Great point.
All right, gentlemen.
You'd be surprised.
That'll wrap it up for today.
All right.
Now we'll all go to the game and we'll all meet up and have a big hug.
Simmer, get a poll out there. How many of our listeners have seen Welcome Back, Cotter? We need
First of all, the 90% that have are not on Twitter, and the other 10% actually have a dial phone at their house. They don't even have a cell phone. So I'm not touching that one, to be honest with you. That is a very small sample size, and it just makes us look like 3 old men. So we don't need that.
Speak for yourself. I am young and vibrant.
That's true.
You keep telling yourself that.
All right, boys.
See you, everybody.
Have a great day, Ottawa. Have a great weekend, everyone. Enjoy the great weather.
Thank you, Joshua, for the donation. I love it. Appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in to Coming In Hot. If you enjoyed the show, hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to never miss an episode.